I I do have a bit of coinage on me. Don't don't get any ideas. Welcome, travelers of the internet, to Bright Helm Recording. This is your host, Master Barkle, playing the Pillars of Eternity. We got done in the Russet Wood with killing of ogres and all that whatnot, and now we're back here in the Stalwart village, and I had received a message about a sense of piece of Gerard's home, Gerard's helm nearby. So we need to do some searching around for it. I'm taking the guess. We can technically head outside the wall here and do a little search around. That can be kind of plain Jane. Tin hat, bunch of drugs. Let's look in here. Ready?
We should check the barrels for more crazy monks.
Wow, there's a lot of weapons in there. That's oil. I guess that makes sense. This tattered net appears to have been set aside for mending. The dead eyes of speckleback, iron-toothed pike, and frost diver fish gaze up at you. These roasting fish provide much of the pungent odor permeating the fishery. Fishery's closed for that. Oh.
When did Durrance get bird legs?
Man, why are you always high out of your mind, dude?
Ha, that's what I get for asking directions in the middle of nowhere.
What?
Say, I don't suppose you've seen any mysterious old buildings in the mountains lately, have you?
She got a portrait. The Amarwell wears an assortment of bangles, bands, cuffs, and chains as thick as armor. She watches you with a raised eyebrow and eyes gleaming with a mirth. You mean Durgan's Battery?
No, but I've heard that name a lot around here.
Eh.
I'm looking for the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. It's an obscure temple dedicated to Ondra.
Why are you looking for the Abbey?
I'm a gift bearer. My job is to gather tokens of things people want forgotten and surrender them to the Lady of Lament. Best place to do that is the Abbey of the Fallen Moon.
What kinds of tokens do you take?
Anything that represents a moment or a memory someone wishes to leave behind. Well, love notes, awkward family heirlooms, bad poetry, the kinds of things you want to forget.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that.
I might be here a while. Half the villagers have never heard of the Abbey, and the ones that have, no one knows where it is.
I could plunder that abbey and find all kinds of dirty little secrets. Woohoo.
So I'm trying to think of this as an extended holiday in a remote mining village that smells like fish.
That is quite an interesting circumstances. I've got business in this region.
You won't regret it. I've got a lovely singing voice.
Uh-huh.
And the company's welcome.
She wakes up Palagina. But who do we want to swap out for you? I think we honestly do want to be free of Palagina for you. Mania? Or Mainha. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce your name. You're a barbarian. So you're gonna be a frontline basher type. So that'd be paladin or monk, and we just recently got him, and we're still exploring with him. Bird lady, you're getting replaced. Okay, let's take a look at her. We may deal with her again. I'll find it without your help. Not giving up, you hear? Charlatans all. Just give me a moment. Loot this. Okran. A dwarf paces with his head down and arms crossed, only stopping to hurl glances at the building behind him. His face is smeared dark with grime, and soot falls from his beard as he mumbles to himself. Work my hands into bloody stumps in this place, and for what? He kicks at a mound of dirty snow. Start with nothing, leave with less. The attack of the ogres has hurt everyone, pal. Hurt. The dwarf hunches his shoulders as if saddled straight. Oh man. Alright. Having an issue reading today. Dwarf hunches his shoulders as if saddled with weight. He looks around to the passing villagers. Don't mistake me for one of them. I carry more on my back than tinder and pelts. Oh, really? Do you? Well, God riddance. Should have never settled here in the first place. Some things you mean to leave behind. Come to find out you packed them anyway. But I'm not leaving until I recover what's mine. They can't deny me again. Not after this. Ockham gestures at the burnt-out buildings. The sweet-tongued priests took my heirloom. Bury the memory of my past, they said. Now I don't even have that. What priests? Only ones here. They occupied the temple some time ago, picking at desperate folk like vultures. Those priests, Ondra's dogs, said that the goddess would forgive, that some things are best left to be forgotten. It sounds like they are actually charlatans, because they're probably selling this stuff off to be forgotten, so to say. Their leader, Lofta, I believe their words, another one of them, a gift bearer, took my medallion. Hopefully this barbarian doesn't prove to be any trouble. And now they won't tell me where it is. Your problem is that you give meaning to meaningless objects. Here, let me show you something. I need one of your rings. Ockham draws back his hand, but Zawa gives him a trustworthy nod. After a moment's hesitation, Ockham relents, dropping a jeweled band into Zawa's outstretched palm. Immediately, Zawa flings it into the lake. Marvelous, Zawa, marvelous. See, you are no worse off. Ockram's face, already splotched with pink from the cold, turns a deep shade of crimson, and his mouth puckers as though his head were set to implode. After a tense moment, his breathing slows and his fists unclench, his original look of pained frustration returning. Great job, Zawa. Great job. Why don't they tell it? No, that I already know why, because you're trying to forget. I guess if I find anything, I'll let you know. Not the kind of talk that I've grown used to these last few years. I admit, the priests may pretend otherwise, but folks here tend to look only after themselves. Yeah, as many people do. I'd be surprised if they return it willingly. They believe it's a sacred duty to cast the offerings to the gods in some place where they'll be forgotten. Better to find where they drop them off, I think. Okay. Well, I'll look around for it. I don't expect luck to grace me now, but if you find anything, I'll be here. Count on it. Okay. Perhaps if I adjust this like so.
Oh, it's working! Yes! I can't believe it! It's really... Oh.
The dwarven woman looks at you, a disappointed expression on her face. In her hands is a large rectangular box, covered in strange dials and symbols. I get that reaction a lot.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be so rude. I'm Ista. I heard we have you to thank for clearing out the ogres. I'm glad Stalwart survived. It would have been a disappointing trip up here otherwise.
What's that device you're holding?
My ore-locating divination tool. Well, that's what it will be. I have to calibrate it. Right now it seems to think you're a copper deposit.
Um, I I do have a bit of coinage on me. Don't don't get any ideas.
My animancer contacts did suggest that a particular strong soul essence might interfere. I'm more interested in minerals in any case.
Um, I I don't know if I have a strong soul or just multiple souls.
I suppose that's possible. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, unfortunately.
What are you looking
I'm
for?
trying to recreate the instruments that first led the Pargrin dwarves to this mountain. This is my latest prototype. Centuries ago, dwarves carrying tools just like this one followed their readings to what is now the battery. If I can recreate their work, then I may be able to find ore deposits elsewhere.
Maybe make a second battery, huh?
I was hoping to test it, but my arrival was delayed by word of the ogre attack. I haven't been able to find anyone to venture up the mountain since.
Well, I mean, I'll be going that way anyways. I I mean, I'm gonna find treasure along the way, surely. I don't think I need her to pay me as well.
Really? That'd be wonderful. I just have to adjust the device, you see.
Your hands move swiftly over the box, adjusting knobs and dials.
It should point you toward metal deposits. We already know the battery rests on some rich veins, but I was hoping to get a reading of the surrounding mountainside. If you can follow the readings to ore and bring back a sample, I can use it to refine the device.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks ever so much for this.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we head into this temple. They got some guards in here. Laughter. Veins course under this woman's pale skin like icy fissures. Yet, when she speaks, her voice flows warm and soothing. Ondra welcomes you into her embrace. Her features soften into a look of practiced compassion. We're here to ease the pain of your past, ready to take your burdens. With a thin smile, she nods. If you let the goddess help with your hardships, of course. I want to ask about Ockran's heirloom. The dwarf already asked. We gave him the counsel he needed. Slight irritation sharpens her tone. She seems to catch herself, modulating her voice back to a pleasant timbre. And naturally, we'll do what we can for you too. Ask what you will. He wants his amulet back. Medallion, my bad. She brings her hands together and nods. Ah, Ockran. How often we let the shadows of the past become a burden even to others. That medallion, it weighs on Ockran's mind. You're kind to help, but what he really needs is to cast away those memories. What memory, though? Isn't that for him to decide? He did. He understood the solace that the goddess can give to those like him. It was explained to him that many have second thoughts, but one does not withdraw something offered to a goddess. In time, the memories fade, and they come to see the wisdom of their original pledge. His belongings, his past, now rest in Ondra's realm, to be forgotten so that the wounds of his soul may heal. This is the will of the goddess. I mean, wills of mortals or gods has never really stopped me before. Lofta's expression breaks and she takes a step back. Her cohorts reach for their weapons. She immediately raises her hand. No, we have nothing to fear. The ripples in her voice quickly calm. There's no need to quarrel over the mysteries of a goddess's will. I'll tell you what you wish to know. Ockran's heirloom was taken by Ixtli, chosen gift-bearer among us, to be cast away as an offering to Ondra. Only he knows where. That Nah, there's gotta be a spot. You could ask him yourself, but he's on a trek through the mountains of Durgan's Battery. If you run into Ixtli, tell him he has urgent duties to attend here. It's hard to believe that only the gift bearer knows where Ondra's offerings are cast away. Is it? Our goddess frees us from our earthly burdens. It's best if only one of us knows where they are taken, lest we all end up suffering under their weight. Alrighty, farewell, I guess. This was a little pointless. As you step outside, the heavy wooden door of the temple slams shut behind you. You hear someone barring it from the other side. It sounds like the priests have engaged in an agitated conversation. You get the sense that they are discussing you, but you're also certain that the door is too thick to eavesdrop through, although there may be other places nearby where you'd stand a better chance. Oh, really?
Just say the word.
Does everyone else see that Stelgar and the undersized breeches?
Zawa, straighten up. The wooden shutters of the temple's window close tight and muffle a set of voices coming from within the building. You can't quite make sense of the murmur, but cracking a shutter open would likely help. Let's unfasten the latch. You carefully begin to lift the hatch from its metal hook. Halfway there, the rusted iron resists with a screech. You freeze, listening to the voices in hopes the priest didn't hear. Their conversation continues uninterrupted. Just put a little bit of oil on there. You grab the latch and apply just the right amount of oil, nudging the metal until its rust gives way without a sound. Carefully, you pull the window shutters open enough to let the voices flow through. You hear a man speaking, his tone agitated. You do that? Hope the mountains will do it. What if his sentence cuts as if the man were speaking to all sides of the room? Suppose he tells them instead. What then? You recognize Lofta's voice responding. Why would he? And with all those dangers near the battery, our gift bearer won't delay. I expect the man interrupts her. You always expect. Look where that's taken us. A dying village, ogres at the walls. Ixtli's not back yet, and now I have to do his part. His voice drops and cedes, muffling what he has to say. After a moment, Lofta replies, Do you think I wanted this? That I could have known in advance? A pause ensues, its tension growing until the priestess's voice cuts it in half. We can't wait for him. We must fish out the last batch. Quickly. After that, we'll decide. The last batch, The man responds in a broken voice. Barely audible, you only distinguish the last words. In that russet wood pond. I'll go. Their exchange seems to end. Cautiously, you step away from the window of Ondra's temple. Okay. So we gotta go there sometime. These smelters haven't seen use in a long time. Hammer and chisel. That'll take me to Longwatch Falls there.
They gone? Have those nasty brutes finally left?
Who are you, Taina?
I heard the ogres outside, tearing down walls and murdering folk. Don't remember how things got this bad.
You have a really nice fireplace. The elderly woman kneads her hands. Her knuckles are swollen knobs and her palms are rigid with calluses with scrape and rasp as she rubs them together.
But you're the new adventurer. Renengild's latest volunteer.
She squints at you, leaning precariously forward on her wobbling legs.
A real spitfire, she told me. Bet you'd whip those layabouts at the mine into shape.
Aha. Well, I... Bronze Abaddon statuette. What we got over here? These teeth have been sanded smooth in preparation for carving. Okay.
Whew, good thing I...
A simple test. Settled.
Nothing really. Okay. Go talk to that hunter.
Watch yourself on the mountain. In these lean times, everything looks like prey to something.
Found this wolf of yours, Thirsk.
I see. Is it done? Is he dead?
Yeah, he's dead.
Then it is done at last.
Was that your boy that I killed? Thirsk gives you a weary nod and turns toward the fire.
Thank you, stranger. I can't say I ever hoped this day would come, but it was inevitable.
Did you know him?
He was my son. Once.
Sorry, I couldn't get through to him. He was long gone. If there was any way to get through to him, I would have found it by now. Thirsk looks down, jaw tightening.
Difficult as it must have been, you did what you had to. The people of Stalwart are that much safer for it. You've brought me what peace the gods will allow me. This served me well in my younger days, and I hope that it will do the same for you.
Let us hope indeed. The cloak of the frozen hunt. I wonder where could that horn be? Or helmet piece. Is it in here? Got books. Well, they probably won't want me lockpicking that, I guess.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Can we cover up Durance? No? Okay. Wait, anything in here regarding that guy's helmet? Nope. Huh. Some nice bracers. I may just steal them if you weren't here.
Not a sound.
Something I can do for you?
Yeah, get out of the room. Go clean someone else's room. Have you got it? No, you're just fruit.
Any progress with Devala?
Yep, she's dead.
Thank the gods. Every last one of them. I never thought I'd see this day.
You're a free man.
And thank you most of all. Here, take this. And tell Hafric that he can keep the rest of the week's fee. I'm off.
Where did you get so much money? Oh well, we got level ups to attend to. You awaken and hear someone stirring, growling. Looking over, you see Manha, twitching and muttering in her sleep. You can't make out what she's saying, but from her bared teeth and the sheen of sweat on her brow, this seems like a very bad dream. Let's just go shake her. She sits bolt upright, roaring and reaching for her weapon. Deck her. Punch lands squarely on her jaw.
What? Oh,
Her gaze darts around, but slowly focuses on you. She grimaces and looks away, wiping her face.
Oh, sorry. I must have been dreaming.
You can't help but notice how carefully she's avoiding your gaze. Dreaming about what?
No, it's nothing. Sorry, I shouldn't have bothered you.
We're both awake now. We might as well talk about it, you know. I don't get much sleep, and it looks like you don't get much sleep either. You got something to tell me? Hey, let me tell you. It's kind of a common occurrence in this party. Well, we got Aloth, we got me, and now maybe you. She's quiet for a long time. It seems like she's already gone back to sleep, but then she sighs.
You told me about your awakening.
Did I? Adair stirs. Mainha waits silently until Adair rolls over and resumes deep, steady breaths.
I guess I've had a similar problem.
Yeah?
There's something I remember from a former life. It happened hundreds of years ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday.
How did you remember it?
Happened while I was fighting in Old Valia 20 years ago. My unit was camped out in the palace we'd just taken. The others were roasting the last of the Marcheso's pigs in the feast hall. So, I went to the wine cellars to fetch a few bottles. I don't know how long she'd been hiding there, but there was this old woman. Must have been one of the servants. She had this wild look in her eyes. I approached her and tried to tell her not to be afraid, that she was safe. She screamed and grabbed my arm. It felt like someone had hit me in the back of my head. I blacked out for a few minutes, and when I came to, she was gone.
Right, go on.
I took a few bottles up with me, feasted with the rest of the troops. But when I went to bunk, I had a dream.
Dream.
Only it was more vivid than any dream I've ever had. I tasted the sweat on my lips, felt the jungle air on my skin, heard the cries.
The living lands? What about the old woman?
I asked the other troops. None of them had seen her. Anyway, I laid off the drink for several days, but I kept having the dream. After a few weeks, I thought a change of scenery might do me good.
Maybe.
Since then, I've been a pirate in the Deadfire, a pilgrim in the White That Wends, an adventurer in the Living Lands, and a gift bearer in a Shamadal.
So you're just trying to forget that dream, your awakening. So that's why you're traveling with me now. She nods.
There's a pool there, the Salt Well. It's where gift bearers leave the heaviest burdens.
The heaviest burdens.
It's said that a person can enter it and leave their own memories behind.
That sounds like something a god's boon would be here. But it also sounds like it's kind of risky.
At this point, I'd gladly give up all my memories if that's what it takes for peace in this life and the next.
Okay. You would leave the hunting memory in the Salt Well? I know that. Let's get some rest. A lot to do. Like searching around for that helmet piece that it told me was around in here. So here? No. You guys seen a piece of a helmet. You know, maybe a horn, maybe a
Careful.
chunk of iron.
Havrick's
Now this I haven't seen before.
Ouch. Yeah, thanks for the late warning. Goodness. Why does he have
That's settled.
so many traps here, huh? Jeebs. I'm just looking around for a piece of a helmet. There's another trap. Why are you always triggering them, Aloth? Usually it's only Durance. Assortment of dusty vintages lines these shelves. Many date to before the War of Defiance. Well, nothing down here. What's that? Just some money. Okay. Well, couldn't really find anything else. But we do know that we weren't quite done in the Russet Wood because that gift bearer decided to go that way. Oh. I'm getting a think. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, jeez. How long would it take me to get there? 1 day and 6 hours. I'll come back. Alrighty, where are they? You. Odina. My lord, I don't wish to trouble you, but I could use your help in a personal matter. Oh, let's hear it. Everyone, together. This is harder to say than I thought it'd be. My name is Odana. I fought in the Saints' War, same as most of my kin. I followed orders, no more. But between one thing and another, I guess I made a reputation for myself. They call me a hero. Every street I walk down, I get handshakes and comments. The dozens, they act like I'm some figurehead for their schemes. The things I've done, I don't get much sleep. The last thing I need is all the attention. All I want is some peace. Please, you're the only one I can turn to. What do you want me to do? Sounds like you could use some rest. Head out into the woods, you mean? I won't find rest in Defiance Bay. Seems like half my neighbors are in the dozens. Suppose. You're welcome to stay here until you're ready to return, I suppose. Really? That'd be wonderful. Just a little time away would be enough, I'm sure of it. Thank you, my lord. That's simple enough, I suppose. Let's have a rest. Hey, my wall's done. Oh, jeez. Prisoner? I don't have a
Scenic
prisoner.
marches and campfire feasts, like the good old days on the Valian front. You got any memories like that, Adair?
Well, let's see. Sometimes we'd march 2-3 days without sleep. Start seeing things that weren't there.
Nice thing about mercenary work is you can always quit.
I don't think he was a mercenary, though. Is this the puddle? No, probably not. It's probably this little fishing hole. Yeah. As you walk towards the frozen pond, a figure appears through the mist. Kneeling down next to a hole on the ice, the figure picks up a large chest and throws it into the water without hesitation. The figure looks around. You glimpse a face you've seen before. Kextil, one of Lofta's acolytes, pulls a hood over his head and throws a leather bag over his shoulder. Without looking back, he walks away in the direction of Stalwart village. I feel like I'm being led out on a hunt. I feel like they're indirectly helping me, maybe? Cloudy water is visible through a large hole cut through the thick ice. It is larger than a fishing hole, wider than a broad set of mawa. Stirred, the surface of the water laps against the layered ice. You reach out to test the water. It nips at your fingers with every ripple, quickly numbing your hand after a few seconds. You carefully inspect your surroundings. Animal tracks are plentiful, but what appears to be the footprints of kith are also present near the hole. Looking closer into the hole, you notice a jagged ring of frost adhering to its walls. It has been rebroken, perhaps more than once. Can we see the bottom? The waters swirl, silty, and nearly opaque. Focusing, you catch glimpses of the bottom, gradually making shapes out of the blur. You're convinced that several objects lie at the bottom. I wonder how dangerous it is to dive into that, because You know, in the real world senses, I'd be dead. Like, even thinking about doing that, dead. But Rollen Tallstag, you know, he might be a bit more durable than people realize. Oh yeah, Aloth has that spell. Yeah, cast Bulwark against the elements before diving in. Aloth, go for it. Aloth begins to draw energy out of the ether and into a grimoire. There's a sudden flash of light from the open page, and you are bathed in a protective aura. You dip your hand into the water, you can feel its ripples climbing up your skin, but you notice no change in temperature. As if the water itself had become lukewarm, the cold, it seems, is no longer a threat. Alright, let's go in. You dive into the water. The turbulent darkness engulfs you, but its embrace feels almost warm and welcoming. Occasionally, a cold shiver runs through your limbs, but the protection offered by the spell lets you swim with ease to the bottom of the pond. Directly below the hole at the very bottom, your hands find heavy objects made of wood and metal. They are chests, small but heavy. You start to bring them up to the surface, one by one, struggling to carry their weight through the water. After a heroic effort, you come out of the frozen pond. You let a few minutes pass to recover from the ordeal, then you're ready to inspect your findings. The chests are marked with symbols of Ondra. You grab one of them and pry its lid open to reveal its contents. Inside, all you see are rocks. You shake the surprise off and grab another chest. The same result greets you after opening it. More rocks, and nothing of value. Something is assuredly amiss. As proof of your findings, you take one of the empty chests with you. I'm telling you, they led me out on a little wild goose chase now. They knew what they were doing. They knew I was eavesdropping. Cursed little smartsy Ondra bearers, gift nerds. Go have a stern talking to with them. Dina left? Okay. Alright, Lofta. I found your chests. They were filled only with rocks. I see. No use in keeping this charade any longer, is there? Her group springs into action. The sounds of unsheathing blades fill the room. Oh, well, geez, people. But we shouldn't act so rashly. She holds a hand up. The thieves keep their weapons pointed at you. Aha! So what's going on is they are selling off those goods and are, you know, doing their gift bearing, you know, to Ondra by just dumping chests full of rocks in the water and other places. It's not a matter of I was on a wild goose chase. I was on a proper goose chase, but the maybe I'm misunderstanding everything.
Hey, fellas, who's the goose? Me.
We've been pretending, yes, but it is so different from what Ondra priests do. Or is it so different from what Ondra's priests do? Villagers and travelers give us things they want to forget. We make them disappear. Isn't that the same thing? Well, I mean, doing it for, like, a just cause and, like, forgetting something versus selling off someone else's valuables that, you know, it might cycle back into the same network, so to say, and they'll be like, hey, I thought I forgot this thing. You know, it sucked to give away that medallion to Ondra just to head to the store and find the same medallion. You're like, what is this? And you flip it over and there's, you know, the name of your wife or something. We aren't murderers, and we'd prefer to be as far away from this cursed place as we can. Lofta gestures at her accomplices. Why make a bloody mess out of this? I'm willing to help you look the other way. What do you propose? A simple deal. You keep our little secret to yourself, and we share some of our offerings with you before we slip away. Kextil brought back the dwarf's heirlooms. You can have them too. Um... Sure, why not? We'll take it. Smart. Most of the gifts the goddess receives are worth little, sadly, but we do manage to coax out more worthy offerings from her followers sometimes. Here's one. Lofta pulls a pouch from behind the altar to Ondra and tosses it to you. The rest's in the large chest. They put their weapons away and begin to gather their belongings. The thieves, packed for the road, form a single line like priests on a pilgrimage. Lofta cracks the door open and peeks outside. She signals the thieves to start their escape and gives you one last glance. This time, we move on. The doors close behind her. Alrighty. Well. Oh, money. Some pearls. Nice. White crest armor. That's quite the armor, huh? Well, we got the medallion, Okran's medallion, so should be good enough. There you are.
Adair, you were a military man. Ever consider making a career of it?
I did for a while. Then I heard you could make money shoveling pig shit, and thought that sounded better.
Well, at least it would get you out of the deerwood.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm hoping you got good news. The gift bearers cast your heirlooms away. I have your medallion right here. Alright, let's see it. Here it is. Okran takes the medallion gingerly in his palms, taking care not to smudge it with his dirty fingertips. Yes, it's her medallion. He smiles and manages to pull his attention back to you. You've done good here today, I swear. If I had a kingdom's treasure to give you in return, I also found your armor. I don't need it. Don't know what I'd do with it. Keep it. More luck to you. It fits very conveniently on Adair, despite the size difference. He turns around and walks away, looking not at the path ahead, but at the precious heirloom clutched in his hands. Even so, the stride of his short legs seemed filled with confidence. Well, there's my good deed of the day. Taxes collected. Wow, the bandits only collected 22 pieces, huh? That's not too bad. Yeah, good karma. And with that, we've had an uneventful episode of Pillars of Eternity, but I feel we've gotten a lot of conversations dealt with. We've reworked a barbarian and learned of a new awakened fellow in the party, as well as helped out that Okran fellow with dealing with those thieves from Ondra. The robbed that smiles steals something from the thief. This is Master Barkle from Brighthelm Recording, signing off.